Good Wednesday morning to you. Well, this is the Vilca Weather Hazards Outlook. This will be valid for utilities the rest of today, Wednesday, through next Monday, April the 3rd. Well, we may have a backward spring. That is, spring conditions to trend to winter again eventually. So fair and warm conditions with rain showers to end this work week will then undergo a major weather pattern change over the weekend to much colder and frequently stormy, and that would include snowy. Snow should be the primary precipitation type after the 2nd of April, as much colder air will be in place at that point in time. Lots of early spring jet stream energy and a very fast flow of clipper systems to move to and fro. You're looking at the total maximum accumulations of precipitation. This is valid over the course of the next 7 days, actually through next Wednesday. And total accumulated precipitation runs about 1.5 inches through our region here. It's going to be an active weather pattern with lots of weather systems, mostly rainfall early and then a lot of shortwave troughs coming in out of the northwest, and that's going to be the primary changes that are going to be taking place after this coming weekend, actually along about Sunday. Well, we have a gorgeous, beautiful day currently underway with temperatures that are going to be relatively nice as we get into the afternoon hours, warming up through the 30s and into the 40s, and should be topping out somewhere around 50, maybe in some areas, maybe as high as 55. High pressure ridge making for some great project weather today, and should be dandy. Next chance for good project weather not until Monday next week, and we have a lot of weather that's going to be happening between now and then. This is the next weather system. This is going to be pivoting around this area of higher pressure and then running into it. We're going to see just high cloudiness off and on today. Not a big deal. But tonight, a little bit of this is going to get into parts of the northwest corner of the state as sprinkles, and then a warm frontal genesis will take place right along the northern tier of Vermont, and then that'll track into Canada during the day Thursday. That's when the temperatures will max out around 65 degrees across a wide area, so some pretty warm weather is around the corner basically for Thursday and Friday. So we're looking at that ridge of higher pressure over us and nice toasty conditions this afternoon. And then overnight tonight and toward tomorrow morning, we're seeing that little bit of precipitation squirt just to the north of us across the northern tier areas. And that tracks in with an area of low pressure across the Great Lakes. And then that will push in more rain showers eventually as a band will move on through. This is valid during Friday. Now, there's some indications that there could be some embedded thunderstorms along this particular line here. This is about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, something we'll be watching as well. So a couple warm days. In fact, dew point temperatures get up into the low 50s Thursday night and Friday. And that means we might have a little bit of juice for some embedded thunderstorm activity. Lightning the main concern, but also gusty winds at that point in time, with stronger winds aloft, more from the southwest at that point. So the way that band moves on through during the day on Friday, then we have not as much going on, but you notice there's several different shortwave troughs here, a couple different precipitation makers. This one is very potent. This is going to be landing on us on Saturday night into the morning hours on Sunday. So here's how it works out. Keeping an eye on that potent shortwave, it tracks through the Great Lakes, gets into New York, knocking on the door. This is valid about 2 o'clock in the morning Saturday night, or Sunday morning rather, 2 a.m. Sunday. And then you can see very, very potent here, spinning up an area of low pressure, a lot of thermal packing, including some strong gusty winds moving this through. So we have gradient wind issues. We also have some wet snow, especially northern Vermont, southern Vermont, especially southern areas, and then even into the northern areas. So as this tracks on through, could leave us with a little bit of snow and then much colder temperatures. And we're looking at a series of shortwave troughs, Alberta Clipper-like systems, that then push into the region. We're not really sure this far out here. This would be valid around Tuesday, but that could definitely affect the home opener or the opener for the Red Sox in Cleveland. So looking at a potential couple wind issues here. First one arrives basically later in the day on Thursday and Thursday night. There could be some channeling winds through the Champlain Valley and marginally strong winds at highest elevations along the western slopes. Does not look like a big deal. Incidentally, the wind flow is more southwesterly than southeasterly, and that typically takes a lot off any kind of wind issues there. But just progressing forward here every 6 hours, you can see that this is be valid 8 o'clock in the morning on Friday. That's 2 o'clock in the afternoon Friday, associated with that band of thunderstorms rolling on through, which suggests there may be some issues there, convection issues with some strong localized gusty winds and also a pretty good southwesterly blow across our mountaintops. And then that moves on out and conditions begin to calm on down a little bit. Let's check snow. So looking at any kind of wet snow possibilities, this is what moves in. We start to get into that. And there's the southern Vermont areas with that very potent shortwave clipper-like system that moves on in. Enough dynamics here for marginally wet snow, but it looks like a medium type snow because temperatures aloft at this point will be a lot colder. So as it moves on through, it moves out very quickly during the afternoon. That would be Saturday night into Sunday. And then the next clipper system, this is the way it's shaping up right now. That's valid Tuesday morning. This is very, very suspect because just 12 hours later, that was the European model. So you can see a lot of divergence. So European ensemble matches up fairly nicely as, this is the GFS ensemble, the plume forecast. So dry weather today, later tonight some sprinkles, then we get into some rain showers with this main event here. And then it gets cold enough to snow roughly in the midday 2nd of April. And you can see that these will be snowfalls, but generally minor, nothing major at this point. Okay, overall weighted temperatures. This is the next 5-day high temperatures. You can see colder weather moving on in. We're neutral at this point, and that includes those 2 60-degree days Thursday and Friday. So you can see the weighted temperatures are going down, and 3 days later, kaboom! You're looking at what's that? 9 to 12 degrees below normal for high temperatures. This is a 7-day snowfall for the last 7 days. You can see the most has been up in the usual areas, spine of the Green Mountains and the Standard Mountain Range. And then in terms of snow depth, not a lot to show for it because it's melted out. 1 inch Walden, looks like around Sutton and so forth. Of course, the stake of Mount Mansfield has about 26 plus inches, 1 inch down here. Temperature layout in pretty good agreement. This is centered on Montpelier, Vermont, so a little bit cooler, but you can see temperatures well into the low and mid 60s for both Thursday. A very warm minimum could affect the sugaring season, could end a lot of sugar bush, especially south-facing slopes. And then you have that max temperature again, and then the temperatures come down incrementally, and we're back into winter. 32 degrees, that's all below it right here, and this is where it's going to get cold basically Sunday and beyond. That's it from here, Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.